Hey guys, it's Crusty Old Crow here again on a beautiful rainy Sunday to do another tactical perspective. Yay! Love doing these. Means I got a new fig. Now, is Tunnel Rat a new fig? No, Tunnel Rat's not a new fig, guys. But I'm going to treat him like a new fig for this tactical perspective because when it comes to the Nightforce variant of Tunnel Rat number 107, it's a better fig than the original. I've heard a lot of people say it, and now that I've had it in my hand for about a week, I have to agree it is. There's some things I wish was between the two, and of course in the previous loadout, or previous, whoa, I almost knocked my coffee over there. Previous tactical perspectives about this, number 83, I did talk about his loadout and how for a guy who claims to be a tunnel rat, he's loaded more like a rock and roll. For an EOD and armed disposal guy, his loadout's over the top. But 107 Nightforce Tunnel Rat does something for me, just with the sense of appeal and color scheme. So I'm going to do my tactical perspective today, acting like I ain't never seen this before. So, oh my gosh, I got a tunnel rat. What's this? A Nightforce one. Look at the box. That's interesting. What a great pose. What's going on in there? He's in the tunnels, and we know that crosses over with the Mole Men and the Dark Energon universe, which is, of course, going to be the fold over between Transformers and G.I. Joe, and it's been garnering a lot of talk on my circles lately. The people I've been talking to, I wonder who else is starting to look at that universe a little differently. So on this one, we know that he's in those tunnels hunting down the mole because they're all a part of the Nightforce theme, right? With Shadow Tracker was in this line as the Cobra element, as was the Mole People, or the Mole Rats, the Mole Men, whatever you want to call them, and the Range Viper. And of course, he is joined by Big Ben, who I've yet to get, but I will, and Jody Shooter. Who else did we get in this line for Nightforce? Wolf Spider, of course. If I'm missing one, I'm sure I'll think of it. But we know we're getting more, and I love that side box art. Of course, we've got that kit count on the back, and it matches the digital render on the image. And we notice that he is a shorter Joe, and it does show on the figure when you scale him next to other figures that he is 5'9" and not the standard 6'2" hulking massive muscle Joe. He's a 5'9", mini massive muscle, a lot like some YouTubers we know. But there you go. That is the box, guys. And in the box, get used to saying goodbye to the ammo crates as we shift over to the plastic coffins as we've seen in the latest release, but 107 with your traditional ammo. And there is no change to the loadout on this Tunnel Rat, and there's your box image of Nightforce Tunnel Rat. Hey, listen, you're not here to see me. You're here to see Tunnel Rat. And you know what else I've done? I've been focusing my channel a lot lately on the backgrounds because I wasn't happy presenting the figures the way they were. That's like presenting the Mona Lisa in the bathroom. It's just not where you want to see it. And my figures were sitting in a variety of incompleted backdrops. So today we're going to review Nightforce Tunnel Rat in his Nightforce diorama area, his display. So here we go, guys. This is the Nightforce Tunnel Rat as you have them there. We'll just get that camera centered there. We'll bring some more light in there. And yeah, there we go. Isn't he cool? There's been no change to this character as far as the loadout. Like I keep saying, what did change was the paint apps and how they were applied. And that's about it. Now, I did like this character in the original design from the original 83 numbered character. But this 107, I felt was even tighter because of the aesthetics. But also, I noticed he didn't have the shakes the way my original Tunnel Rat did. So he was very much stiffer. I think that's just a fluke, because there is absolutely nothing new being brought to the table on this character besides the paint. So, as per my traditional tactical perspective, I'm going to give you guys the rundown on what we know about Tunnel Rat from his file card, which to me is always the paramount source of information when you're looking for your Joe's background. You go to the file card. Comics and cartoons are secondary. That file card is the hard print on these guys. So Tunnel Rat, his profession is EOD, and that's Explosive Ordnance and Disposal, guys. If you're not sure, Ordnance Disposal, it's the guys that blow up the IEDs, pull the mines, to deal with misfiring weapons like rocket launchers and things like that. You can't just tinker with a toy like a bomb and not expect it to go off unless you are the EOD guys who know exactly what the guts and blood work of that bomb is and know how to manipulate that stuff. These guys are critical in the more recent warfare in Afghanistan and in Iraq and anywhere where guerrilla insurgencies are making a lot of different kind of bombs. These are the guys that recognize which components are wired in which way, what kind of device you're dealing with, and how to dispose of it. So why then does he come with a goddamn M16? Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the file card. Did you know his name is Nicky Lee? And did you know that his secondary's profession isn't infantry like everybody else? It's just combat engineer. So he is not a section fire support guy or a company level support guy in firepower or fire base or any kind of assault manner. So the weapon he was given for this series is over the top and strictly to please collectors and to reflect that mistake that they made back when they originally designed this character. There's your tactical perspective opinion on the loadout. But I digress. He is from Brooklyn, New York. He is an E5 for your ranking system in the American military, I believe. I don't know what that is. Master Sergeant, or I don't know what you guys got. Gunnery Sergeant, E5, is it? Or is it, like, what's the combat engineer equivalent to that rank level? If you know in the comments, let me know. I want to say it's a warrant officer, but I don't know because it's U.S. Canada, I know exactly what we were looking at here. Moving on, Tunnel Rat's family tree is Trinidadian Chinese with branches of Irish, Spanish, and Indian thrown in. He grew up on the mean streets of Brooklyn, he grew up mean on the streets of Brooklyn. That's a different kind of statement. Got tough on the Ranger course at Fort Benning and honed his skills at Grenada. So the keywords there, he's mean, he's tough, and he's skilled. He is qualified. He is a qualified expert with all NATO small arms, and is familiar with most Warsaw Pact explosive devices. Okay, again, here's that thing about this big honking machine gun he's carrying around. He's not even actually technically qualified. This heavy support weapon, this high rate of fire, this 7.62 nightmare of a cannoneer. This is not his preferred loadout because it's not one that you get with a small arms course, okay? It's a support weapon. Anyways, moving on. Tunnel Rat believes that anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. His feelings about crawling into an enemy tunnel with a knife in one hand, a pistol in the other, and a flashlight in his mouth is simple. He can shoot straighter, bite harder, and run faster than anything he's ever encountered in a tunnel, so why worry? All right. You'll notice in his hand I didn't put the knife. But I did put the pistol. Huh. Interesting that Hasbro decided to give him a revolver in the character on the figure. But in the file card, he is, noted for wanting to have a pistol. It's these little things, right? So I'm going to call up the Tunnel Rat from 1980, whatever, when he came out. And I'm going to just have a little peeky peek at that chest rig that we know the pistol didn't come off back then, back in the 80s. But we do know that it was sculpted to represent. And so let's see if Hasbro changed that. So I'm looking at it, and they did. Okay, so clearly that stamped bottom, you've got a little raised element on that. And I'm going to show you the raised, where the silver flat bottom you could say that's a revolver, but look at the top part of that, where the hammer would normally be a rounded shape with the actual hammer sticking out more prominently. That to me is a standard 9mm pistol. It's a service pistol. So he got a revolver as an upgrade, and I'm glad he did, because I really liked the revolver they gave him. In fact, with my number 83 Tunnel Rat, I am actually absent the revolver. Somehow that dinked out on the shelf. That's a new word, dinked out. Dinked out to me means that it fell out of his head and went dink, 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 dink down the cracks of a shelving. So I haven't pulled the shelving out to find it yet, but I do love that revolver. It's actually one of my favorite on the Joe side of the classified. Any good solid revolver is good by me. Okay, so now we've gone the file card, and I have covered some of the kit, but let's go head to toe. What changed on that head? Well, guys, I hate to tell you this, but the head of my original 83 is kind of the only thing I know where it is right now. Uh-oh. But yeah, if we remove these goggles, we'll see one of the things they did is they did change that bandana from that one solid color that he had to the camouflage. And that's really cool because it crept up off his face. If we notice on the original, on the 83, he had camo all over his face. And that has disappeared from his face, bled into his bandana, and turned him into a war-fighting machine. And it even took the camo from his arms while it went. Good choices, sure, but I'm a little lost as to the concept why. Oh, yeah, there's Crow. Hey, Crow, what do you think? Lost. Concept why. Move on. Okay, so the reason I'm a little lost on it is if he is Nightforce, their main objective and role on the battlefield is, you know, counter espionage and surveillance, all that kind of stuff. And he's dressed in black to maneuver with the shadows and everything like this. And so he still has his exposed skin because that's the way the model was made the first time. Pardon me. Oh, let me choke down the fact that this is still a one take and I did that. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so why did he get rid of his black cam? Wouldn't you want more black cam to break up those rolled up sleeves and that exposed handsome young man face? Even more when you're maneuvering in the shadows in the counter-espionage world, if you're dressed all in black, you are kind of a shiny little beacon with your skin hanging out. I just don't understand why they made that choice to take away the camouflage, but they did. Anyways, it's the same head sculpt as the original, which I liked the first time, and guess what? I like it the second time just as much, but that bandana, I like a lot more. I find it a lot more relatable to that bandana, because this is the bandana I used to wear overseas in Afghanistan, and you can see that it is camouflage. So, relatability, nostalgia, you know that's what the Crow's all about. Oh, Nikki, you're pulling at my heartstrings again. Those chest components, let's go through them one by one and exclude the backpack from this for a second. You see that he's got a shoulder satchel bag that represents a demolition charge that he's going to throw out, or the tools to disable the bombs that he is working on. And you got to assume the rest of those tools are going to be sitting in there in that big old backpack of his. But you know what 75% of that backpack is? Filled right up to the top with ammo for that damn oversized machine gun he's carrying. Boxes and boxes of ammo, because ain't nobody gonna lug them for him. They didn't even want him to bring it. And on top of those boxes of ammo, you're gonna have his snacks and things and licky chewies, and then finally maybe your EOD stuff. But so that doesn't really leave a whole lot of room. You want to know what's in the side packs of those backpacks, as Bergens as we call them? Probably his socks and underwear if he's out there for a few days. Oh God, I hope he brought his own socks and underwear and isn't expecting to borrow anything off of anybody. But yeah, all his fighting and dying kit packed in there, but boxes of ammo senselessly manipulating that backpack. There, I'm leaving that out of there. The backpack's done, but the flashlights aren't. Cool little spot to mount flashlights. I can't hate on that. That looked really cool, and it was even cooler this time with those black flashlights and red lenses. Oh, man, I like those. But moving on to those chest components again, you got that bandolier of more ammo for the gun he doesn't need. You know, and considering how many times Joe likes to toss around the CoverGirl shotgun, or even the Falcon shotgun, right, Wolf Spider? Screw that thing, man. Look what I dragged off one of those Crimson twins. This is awesome. All right, I don't know why you have a weird accent like that, Perth, but let's move on. Yeah, this would have been one of those times where I would have liked to have seen, instead of a bandolier of ammo for that machine gun he shouldn't have, maybe a bandolier of shotgun ammo for a shotgun that he could more understandably have than most other Joes. It would make more sense for him to be carting around a shotgun as an EOD tech, not a frontline troop, and a guy crawling around in tunnels or urban environment. He's going to be the close-in guy, and he's going to have infantry with him supporting. I'm not a big fan of the shotguns, but my God, they're just dropping without thought, and now machine guns follow suit with Tunnel Rat, and it has been going on for a while. Why Hasbro felt the boldness to change the pistol to a revolver, but not the machine gun to something more sensible, only Lenny knows. Lenny, if you ever watch the Crow's videos, let's do a coffee talk one day so you could put my mind to rest, because these things go through it like just ice water, man. I settle on these thoughts and I think, what was the call? Nonetheless, what else didn't we cover in this torso area is the, of course, strapped breast holster for his revolver. I loved that detail the first time. I'm going to love it just as much the second time. Housing that beautiful gun, giving him a unique look to his torso. And of course, he's got his little bandana wrapped around his neck as well. And I didn't mention that. He's got 2 bandanas. He's twice as cool. In the 90s, he would have been the baddest of the bad boys. Anyways, moving down, that black shirt is a really nice choice for the Nightforce colors, of course, but also just that plainness of the character. And of course, you can see a lot of customs that can come out of having a new torso like the one that Tunnel Rat brought to the table, as I see it anyways. And maybe that's what happened to number 83, but I love that torso. Love the arms, even though they're bare this time. It's just it's a good look, you know, the black rolled up sleeves, the black gloves. This guy looks like, if he weren't just a bit Trinidadian, he would have been played by Johnny Depp, and we would have all gobbled it up. Look how cool I look. You know, just, yeah, like 21 Jump Street. Great tactical pants, draped down beautifully. It's a nice choice of colors on that gray. And of course, those extra light gray knee pads are a nice contrast to that. And that's what I really like about this Nightforce character. They break up the colors well to still make them all individual, right? Like that gray, like 3 tones of gray, a little bit of olive drop brown or green, you know, just mix it up a little bit, but they're all complementing each other. And this is what I think Nightforce always had going over, say, Tiger Force, is that these colors blended much more palatably for a military line action fig than, say, the neons that some of the Tiger Force were tempted to bring to the table in a different manner back in the 80s. I'm not against the Tiger Force now, but I certainly did like the not against the Tiger Force back then, but the Tiger Force we're coming up with now, each one just seems like more of a gamble. And you see, as I change direction, now we've got those NVGs on Tunnel Rat. Of course, he does come with a set of those. I didn't put those on when I did the head part, but what are you going to do? Anyways, the pants, I love those pants for one big reason. I'm not going to talk about the knife sheath and the side pouch, although they are nice. The reason I love these pants is because this is a rare example of where the pant blousing comes down over that boot line. If you just have a little look at those legs, it comes down over that boot line, and we've seen that again with the airborne figure, and that's a very realistic military detail. Yeah. In Canada, in our garrison, we blouse our pants up over our boot. It's part of your uniform dress and deportment guide, and you're expected to wear them bloused. But when we go to the field, we unblouse them. You're going to blow the bands. You don't want dust going up and things. So anything that can dust trap your boots and still relax you, because you don't like boot bands riding up your shins and your pants blowing drafts unnecessarily. That's great stuff. So I love that little detail on it. That kit, as I said, you know, we've got this very large weapon for this very small man. And I mean by small, I mean the room for it and his role was small. And you can see I was so off put by it, I didn't even fix the warp. He is relatively new. It did come warped like that. And yeah, I could fix that with a hairdryer or a little bit of hot water, no problem. But it does have that beautiful scope on top and that functioning bipod. And for this variant, they went with a black and an olive drab green for this color, I believe. And I'm not quite sure what was the original color. It was probably black and olive green, or a different shade of green. Nonetheless, another fine piece of kit that would look great on a different character, like a rock and roll. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Lisa needs braces. Rock and roll. Lisa needs braces. Rock and roll. I think I'll do a V2 rock and roll. I think I'll do a V2 rock and roll. Lisa needs braces. Okay, so moving on, guys. Now that we are through the head-to-toe inspection, the boots are the same boots as before, and they're a good set of boots. Let's give him our attention to... We've covered the weapons. Of course, now we're moving into the grading system. And I've changed that grading system to a number as opposed to an A+, B+ recently because, yeah, I find you can capture the little reasons why you're subtracting a grade better as opposed to a letter grade. So for the tactical loadout on this guy, the tac grade on this guy, he's going to get mid-grade to a higher grade. Everything except that machine gun makes sense. If you were to lose that machine gun, I could accept the large backpack. He's gonna have a lot of stuff there. Okay, fine. He's gonna drop that when he goes to crawl into those confined spaces. And it's not like these Joes are carrying their backpacks everywhere, guys. Half of them would be leaving them on the vehicle, you know. The bandolier of ammo, of course, would not be necessary if it weren't for that gun, and everything else with Tunnel Rat as far as tactical representation, the revolver, the flashlights, the knife, you know, the crawling around knee pads and good pants, and the bandana, of course, I think is really a nice choice over, say, a ball cap or a bump helmet, which are all great, but not for when you're crawling around in close spaces like that. Yeah, it would be I'd say we'll ding it a full mark for that gun because it has residual effects. So we're going to look at a 4 on the tac. But that 4 it's a no further than 4 kind of mark. Now on the play grade, you're getting a lot of kit with this particular figure, and it is a direct to retail over the shelf variant, I will say, as in Tunnel Rat himself was direct to retail over the shelf, and you can find him and such, but Tunnel Rat Nightforce Edition, which this one is, number 107, is a Walmart brand exclusive, and you do have to go through the Walmart hurdles of ordering it or finding someone who had. But do check your shelves, as Walmart is kind of wishy-washy on their commitment to this brand of Joe. That you will find certain Walmarts are pumping them out to get rid of them and placing even Nightforce on the retail shelf to get rid of them, as was found in the case here in my local Walmart area. On the play grade, you have to give him a high grade because of the piece count. He's got the standard, you know, close quarters weapon, close defense weapons, as in the knife and the pistol. He's got a long range weapon, as in the machine gun. He's got a backpack, and then he's got some little adds like the NVGs, the extra bandolier, the satchel charge, and the flashlights. That's a fair amount of extra ads for just the over-the-counter retail standard fig. So the play grade goes up because of that, as does with the articulation. It's good. It's not limited by any torso second layer ads or soft goods like that. So it's a high play grade. Really, I kind of have to go with at least a 4.5. Again, the reason the play grade drops is because this is the tactical perspective. And man, if you aren't feeling right about the guy's loadout, you're not playing with it, right? Because you don't feel good about the loadout. I do have to go through my collection and retool him. That's all. As I did with, with Wolf Spider there. So, with regards to the creativity and fun grade, the good time grade, that extra nostalgia grade, we all liked Tunnel Rat, I think, for the most part, definitely when he was released in the 80s. throughout the cartoons, I don't know how he was received. I know he was a big part of Sigma 6 for a little while. But as far as his appearances in comics and cartoons, I would only recommend that you guys check out JLS Comics. And if you like these reviews that I do, these tactical perspectives, where you get to have little sneak peeks at other things going on, and yeah, you know what to do. You do any of these things, that like and share and subscribe and comment and notifications. We just closed out our 350 contest. I am tallying the entries for that, and I'm going to sit down and work that out. We're going to take our time with that. So if you're waiting on a winner announcement on that one, that will come soon, guys. But there's other things on the table. Just know there wasn't that many entries. What it is having to weigh what has been done. I know Aaron's process. He's going to take a hot minute with it, but we're going to talk about it. Don't forget to check us out this Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. That's, I believe, 8 o'clock Central, as I will be joining my Backyard Battlefield brothers for an episode that Wednesday. Yeah, guys, Tunnel Rat, I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I'm glad that I got him to complete the collection, and he is driving me to finishing the Walmart line of Nightforce figures that I wasn't having a good time trying to track down. And I've done that with, of course, the help of subscribers and friends who have helped me get better access. And thank you so much for your support to this channel. Thanks for helping me hit that 350. And guys, that's going to do it for today's tactical perspective. I have been the crusty old pro. I've been that guy the whole time. But thank you again for that 350 mark. And my next video, if you guys like the little backgrounds, my next video might be one that you guys want to check out, because I am going to talk to you about what I did to my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle display. There's some stuff going on here that I want to show off. Okay, that's going to be it, guys. And like I said, like, share, subscribe. But moreover, guys, have fun with your collections. Enjoy your hobbies, maximize, okay? And tune into all the other guys that me and the others are talking about. That Woody 222 action figure junkie, that Crimson Cobra Commander, that Same Time Toys, that Wraith Mace. You know, there's so many, 3-star draw, of course, that Battlefield brother of ours, Punk with Toys, all these guys. Check them out, okay? Because honestly, you're going to see a lot more conversation going on between all of us about this Joe line, because, guys, playing with toys is important. Please play with your toys. Bye-bye.